At a reception at Buckingham Palace, President Biden arrived in his armoured limousine, but dozens of other leaders packed onto a fleet of coaches.
It was the 19th of September 2022 when millions, including leaders and monarchs, from around the world gathered to say goodbye to Queen Elizabeth II at a state burial service of inimitable pageantry, denoting the death of a darling figure who brought together the country through her 70-year rule. While thousands of individuals lined up to record the coffin of Britain's longest-reigning monarch at London's memorable Westminster Hall during her lying in state, thousands additional lined the roads to observe a serious presentation of the illustrious ceremony. Among these individuals were leaders or their representatives from across the 7 continents. These include some African leaders like President William Ruto of Kenya, President Suluhu Hassan of Tanzania, Jeje Odongo who represented President Museveni, and many others from Africa. Besides these, other leaders like President Joe Biden, President Emmanuel Macron, Canada's Justin Trudeau, New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern, China's Wang Qishan, and Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro and others were also present. Yes, it was a moment of sadness and grief. However, the iconic moment of the funeral that stirred up mixed reactions in Africa came when Kenya's recently elected President William Ruto released a photograph of himself and his wife Rachel, together with other African leaders, while heading to Buckingham Royal Residence for the Queen's memorial service in a bus. After seeing President William Ruto's post, many Africans were stunned and so they went to social media platforms and made several remarks. Here are some of their comments. Please note that, for some privacy reasons, the names of some commenters will not be displayed. Now, with that being said and done, let's start reading the comments. The first commenter said, "I saw our Prime Minister in a crowd like a normal wash plate in a restaurant." Damn! The second commenter said, "They are being treated the same way they treat their citizens. What goes around?" The third commenter said, "They should be happy they didn't force them to trek." The fourth commenter said that treatment was not only reserved for African leaders. The fifth commenter said, "This is unacceptable, barbaric, lack of respect and intimidation of the highest caliber. Why much disrespect to the African leaders? In the first place, why did they go there for such an embarrassment? Neo-colonialism." The sixth commenter said, "It should teach them a lesson that they don't actually require 20-plus cars to transport just one person. We can significantly reduce that and save costs." The seventh commenter said, "African leaders being ferried in buses to Buckingham should be a lesson to them. Value state resources and stop spending beyond your limits. I don't see any reason why Africans are complaining." And those are just a few of the comments we have for now. So, as you have seen from the comments, although some claimed this was disrespectful to the leaders, others claimed it was a good idea to lower the ego of the leaders, especially the African leaders who like parading in expensive cars even when it is not needed. Some YouTubers like Kwadwo Sheldon said,
"The boss, they are happy. If they are happy, we are also happy. We move. After all, they will go and get jollof and cook. Yes, maybe if they are coming, they will give them loans and things. Who knows? Do not blame anybody. Blame your leaders. They had the option to go or not to go. They went."
Meanwhile, according to some sources online, it should be noted that before the funeral, the British government issued a directive asking presidents attending the Queen's funeral to arrive by coach instead of taking their transport. These directives were an exception to some world leaders like US President Joe Biden, who were allowed to visit using private vehicles. By the way, before I round up, I have some questions for you. Do you think this directive from the British government was an embarrassment to all the leaders who were on those buses? Besides this, do you also think if influential African leaders like the late Nelson Mandela, the late Robert Mugabe, and the late Muammar Gaddafi were at such a ceremony would have accepted to take the bus? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.